Hi, Ron Hughes, Associate Pastor at New Life Assembly. I've been asked if I could choose somebody through history or alive today that I could spend a day with. Who would it be? Well, I was thinking that maybe Charles Spurgeon would be an interesting guy to spend a day with. One of the apostles maybe. I don't know. Today alive, John Maxwell I'd like to spend a day with. I'd like to spend a day with Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, just to sit down and listen to the guy and find out what he's all about.
Hey New Life, I'm Jamie Hiscox. I lead the senior high ministry called Impact. Question number 5 is, what is your spouse's ideal romantic date? And for Alicia, if I can take her out for sushi and also to take her on a nice trail ride, go horseback riding. Last time we didn't turn out so well for me. She had a good time, but I ended up having a horse that was demon possessed and tried to throw me off a cliff. Anyways.
Sam Welton here, lead pastor at New Life Assembly, asked this question. I need to describe my favorite pizza. My favorite pizza would be extra cheese, mushroom, pepperoni, pineapple, ham, hot peppers, and onions. And I like my pizza a little greasy. Like if you can't hold the slice up and then a little bit of grease coming off, then it's likely too dry for me. I like it a little greasy.
Hello, I'm Pastor Janelle Archibald, NLA's new children's pastor. The question is, how and where did you and your spouse meet? How long did you date? How long were you engaged? And how long have you been married? My husband Bobby and I met at our previous church in Brampton while he was kind of part of a missions fundraiser. He was getting ready to go on a mission trip, and I was the new kids pastor at the time, so I was helping out, and we met at that fundraiser. We started dating in April 2014, dated for a year and 4 months, then we got engaged in Florida in August 2015, and we were engaged for a year and 5 days before we got married in August of 2016, and this year we've been married for 4 years.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Burmaster, the Director of Communications and Connection at New Life Petrolia. My husband and I met back at the end of 2014. Our first date was at a coffee shop called Death Valley's Little Brother. And when I walked into that place, the first thing I noticed was his bright, white, giant grandpa shoes that he was wearing. But I decided to give it a chance, and we had great conversation, and I really saw the compassion that he had for people, and I heard about the struggle that he had in the majority of his 20s, but decided to give him a chance. At the end of 2018, just after Christmas, we were walking at Celebration of Lights, checking out all the Christmas lights, and while we were under the really big, tall light tree that's right by the water, he asked me to marry him, and I said yes. So we had the biggest party. We both say it was the best day of our lives on August the 17th of 2019, just last year. So we haven't even been married quite a year yet, but let me tell you, there have been adventures, and it's a lot of fun being married to him. A lot of people see him as the really quiet behind the scenes guy, but I can tell you that he doesn't stop talking with me. So I look forward to all the years to come, and I'm really grateful for NLA embracing both of us here and making us feel like we're home.
Oh, hello there. It's me, Josh. We've been setting up for our Focus VBS here, and it's a ton of fun. As you can see, I've been going through the craft closets and finding some luscious locks for myself, but I've seen a few interesting people around here, like, I don't know what he's doing, but come back. Mason, come back here. What are you doing? Mason, come here.
Who's Mason?
What do you mean, who's Mason? You're Mason.
Why are you wearing this wig on your head?
Why are you wearing this wig on your head?
That's my hair. I'm Winston.
What do you mean?
I'm going to my laboratory and I'm going to Focus VBS. My name is Winston.
I'm sorry. You look like my friend Mason. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I can't really find anybody, and there's just these people who look strikingly like the others.
This is all wrong.
Hold on, Emily. Where is everybody?
Who are you?
Who am I? Who are you?
I'm Kylie.
Why
are you here? Okay, sir,
I'm sorry.
I can't.
You look like
Winston,
my friend
I need
Emily.
to get this to the lab.
Okay, so apparently we have a laboratory here that we're setting up, and I can't find any of my interns. Whoa! Here, you drop this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Eva, where is everybody?
I'm Samantha.
What do you mean you're Samantha? You're Eva.
No, I'm Samantha. Who are you?
Oh my god. Okay, anyway, what are you doing here? What is this?
Apparently, someone's gonna dye their hair.
What
If I
do you
bring
mean? Okay,
food
yes,
to the
that's
food
me,
bank.
but before I do that, you have to get a bucket of ice water dumped on you because you're Eva.
No, I'm Samantha. I don't have to get ice water on my head.
Okay, so I don't really know what's going on, but there's some crazy scientists here, and I guess if you want to see more, you can watch our VBS later this week. I'm gonna go try and find everybody else, but I'll see you later.
Hey kids, the item of armor that we're talking about this week is the Belt of Truth. Now, the Belt of Truth, it isn't like a regular belt, and I could really use a regular belt right now because these pants keep on falling down. But the Belt of Truth, it's like a tool belt. Have you ever seen a construction worker wear a tool belt with all his pockets and all his supplies in the belt? Actually, Josh, do you have a tool belt that I could wear right now? Because these things are a little big and they just keep on falling down.
I got one right here, Mason.
Oh, that will help a lot. Now, like I said, the Belt of Truth is exactly like a tool belt. When a construction worker wears his tool belt, he doesn't need to keep on going up and down the ladder to keep getting his supplies. He has everything he needs right there, like a wrench or a screwdriver or his nails or screws, right? The Belt of Truth, it provides us with the truth of God so that we have it with us exactly when we need it. And it helps us whenever there's sin come into our life, we have that truth right with us in the pockets of the Belt of Truth, and the truth of God will help us get through that sin. In Ephesians 6:14, it tells us to stand firm with the Belt of Truth around our waist and the body armor of righteousness in place. With this belt, we can walk around knowing that God is with us wherever we go, and we can stand in confidence with Him. Next week, we're going to learn what the body armor of righteousness is.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim, and I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for all your giving. And this is offering time. Thank you for all your giving. Your giving is what is making all this work. You know, in Luke chapter 6, it says, "Give and it shall be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." We don't give expecting in return, but we know there's a law of sowing and reaping. And when you give, the Lord gives back. Thank you for all you give. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. Thanks again. There's all different forms to how to pay. I won't say them because I'll forget. They're on your screen. Thanks again for all you do. Welcome to this edition of Taking Care of Business. And as you know, we've been highlighting some of the local businesses, and I just want to give a shout out to $123 and the Bargain Shop. These places in the midst of the pandemic have stayed open and have served us and served well. And you know, we should as a community rally together and support them and come out and support our local business in every way, shape, and form that we can. Anyways, I believe that if we go in here right now, we'll get a hello from Mr. Kim, which I believe could be the friendliest guy in petroleum. There he is right there.
Oh,
Come out and support this guy. This is the friendliest guy in Petrolia. And come out and support this business. We love you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Thanks.
Hi everyone, I am Erica, and I live in Sarnia. I grew up in a Christian home, a Christian family, and actually attending New Life Assembly for the majority of my life. I grew up going to church every Sunday, attending midweek programs. I believed in God and prayed to Him, and I considered myself a Christian. The thing I was missing was a real relationship with God. So I grew up following what I thought Christians should live like, and just following the example of my parents, but just hadn't found my own relationship with God yet. So a few years ago I moved to London for a year and lived with my sister and another roommate. During that time we attended Gateway Church in London, and a lot of our friends there, they just had this passion for God and this zeal and desire to live their lives for Him. And I noticed that they were so excited, and I wondered why, and also just wanted to find that excitement for myself. During that time I was learning a lot about myself and just trying to figure out where I fit into this world, who I wanted to be. So I was learning a lot, learning what I shouldn't do with my life and what I didn't want to do, and just trying to figure out what I should do in the future. When I moved home, a little while after, not immediately, I joined the Experiencing God Bible Study led by my Uncle Dan, or Pastor Dan, as many of you know him. And that's when I really would say I met God. When I was young, I was acquainted to Him. In London, I was introduced to Him, and then when I moved home and took that study, I really got to know God. I learned what it meant to have a real personal relationship with Him, and I learned what it was like to really trust Him with my life. I believe that my trusting in Him, finding a home and a job for my husband, and just big life things like that, if I didn't give it all to God, I don't know that we would have ended up where we are today. So my life since truly meeting God and truly having a relationship with Him for myself has been, I can't think of a good word to describe it. It's been different. It appears the same, but in the inside it's so different. It's just so much more real, and there's so much more purpose that I've found in my life, that I know that God has a plan for me, and I'm excited to see what that is. So I guess since meeting God, my life has been exciting. This is my testimony.
Amazing love that welcomes me, the kindness of mercy that bought with blood. so good to me. Behold the cross, age to age, and hour by hour. The dead are raised, the sinners saved. The work of your power.
Good morning, New Life Assembly. It's so nice to be contigo, which is Spanish for with you. Pastor Sam, thank you for the invitation to again share with the New Life Church family. So this is week 3 of the series called On Location. Actually, I first shot the sermon under a stop sign, but my phone picked up too much traffic and wind noise. Hey, New Life Assembly. So I'm now speaking to you from a quiet place, but Pastor Jeanette is helping me and will include in this video some pictures of the actual location where we originally took the video. Stop signs. Stop signs are very, very important. They remind us to stop, look, listen, and to proceed with caution. One of Job's friends said to him in Job 37:14, "Pay attention to this, Job. Stop and consider the miracles of God." In fact, he said, consider the wonderful miracles of God. Job, stop. Stopping is very, very important. Certainly in this COVID season, we've all been affected in many ways, and many of us have been forced to stop. It's a great time to look, listen, proceed with caution. In fact, as I've thought about this season and prayed about it, this could be the most important stop season many of us will ever face. Of course, in the Bible, we're familiar with many goes. There is a time to go. For instance, go into all the world and preach the gospel. Sometimes it's easier to pay attention to the goes than the stops. But in this COVID season, it's good to be reminded of the importance of the stops. For instance, let me just mention 4 stops in the Bible. First of all is the importance of stopping to rest. Mark 6:31, Jesus said to his disciples, "Come aside and rest for a while." With all the disciples had to do, with all the responsibility that Jesus was developing in them, with all the ministry training, Jesus also taught them the importance of stopping to rest. I'm afraid that too many of us in our culture are inebriated by busyness. How often do we say to somebody, "Hey, how are you doing?" And the first thing out of their mouth is, "Oh, I'm just so busy." Sometimes I wonder if it isn't some sort of a badge of honor to be busy. But Jesus taught the disciples not only to be busy about the Father's business, but also the importance of stopping to rest. Then there's the directive to stop and pray. In Mark 1:32-35 says this, "That evening after sunset, many sick and demon-possessed people were brought to Jesus. The whole town gathered at the door to watch." Imagine that, church family. The entire town gathered to watch what was happening. Verse 34, "So Jesus healed many people who were sick with various diseases, and he cast out many demons. But because the demons knew who he was, he did not allow them to speak." And then in verse 35, "But before daybreak the next morning, Jesus got up and went to an isolated place to pray. Here's Jesus with all of these people, all these demands on his life. And he came to seek and to save that which was lost. This was the mantle. This was the calling, and he was carrying that out. And yet Jesus knew the importance of stopping to pray. Just stop. Stop and pray. Oh, how we need to remember that simple but important directive. Again, sometimes it's easier to be busy and to keep going. But Jesus taught us by example the importance of stopping and praying. And of course, Pastor Dean Welton provided such excellent teaching to us. And if you weren't able to take in that teaching, I would encourage you to look for an opportunity to view the recordings of the teaching that he provided. I hear it was just excellent and so impacting. Stopping to pray. In this season, what are you saying to God? And more importantly, what is he saying to you? New Life Church family, stop and rest. Stop and pray. Thirdly is the importance of stopping to care for other people. Jesus' life on earth, oftentimes, he was off going here or going there, but he seemed to have this divine directive, this divine GPS operating in his spirit, where he knew there were people that were waiting to meet with him. We think of the woman at the well. You talk about a divine appointment. Well, here's Jesus off doing other things, but he was compelled, he was directed to go to a well and stop and take care of a precious lady that was hurting so badly. And that's exactly what he did. And then the story goes on to talk about how she went into town and told so many people about this one that she had encountered who ministered so powerfully to her. Imagine if Jesus hadn't stopped to help a hurting lady. Not only did Jesus have divine appointments, we all do. Those nudges of our spirit when God tells us to call somebody or visit somebody, or sometimes it's just in the moment where we're on our way to do something, to take care of something, and our paths cross, and you just know that in the moment you need to stop and take care of that precious, precious person. And then fourthly, there's the importance of stopping when it comes to making moral choices. This is so important, to stop, to pray, to evaluate, and to make decisions that honor God, honor others, and honor ourselves. The Bible tells us about many people who blew moral stop signs. They made bad choices. Well, right back in the beginning, Adam and Eve, of course. Chapter 2, verse 15. The Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. But the Lord God warned him, "You may freely eat the fruit of the tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if you eat its fruit, you are sure to die." Well, in the very next chapter, Satan is there knocking on their doors, telling them, ignore God's directive and just do whatever you want. And Adam and Eve blew the moral stop sign. They ignored the directives of God. They ate the fruit. And that's when sin was born into humanity that day by one man, by their choice. Sin was born. The effects of sin, the effects of ignoring God's directives, it's huge. And it goes on through Scripture. David blew a moral stop sign with Bathsheba. He allowed his flesh to dictate a decision that led to devastating consequences. We can go on and talk about many people, but you know the importance of stopping, thinking, praying, asking God to help you to make the right decision, because when we don't, the consequences can be, as I said, devastating. Of course, Jesus, a fascinating verse about Jesus in Hebrews 4:15. It says, he was in all points tested as we are, yet without sin. Just think about that, church family. He was in all points tested as we are, and yet he did not sin. He knew the importance of paying attention to stop signs, to making decisions that would honor his Father. There was a mantle on his life, and he was not going to risk that by making poor choices. He was tempted, yet he did not sin. And he comes beside us to give us the strength to make choices that will honor him. We need to stop. We need to evaluate moral choices, because when we blow those stop signs, individuals, marriages, and families are often devastated. Even in this season, this COVID season, it's a great chance to take a personal moral inventory. Alcoholics Anonymous talks about that, taking a moral inventory, do an assessment while we have more time and we can evaluate. And certainly in those temptation moments of life, when our flesh is calling out to respond, we need to stop and say, God, what do you want us to do? Yes, stop signs are so important. They're clear, simple, but significant reminders to stop. Stop when we're supposed to. Stop and rest. Stop and pray. Stop and care for someone. Stop and evaluate moral choices. And we have this COVID season when all four of these need to be foremost in our thinking. And of course, the enemy will lie to you, just like he lied to Adam and Eve, and say, look, it's no big deal to run stop signs. But you need to know that when the Lord tells you to stop, it's for very good reasons. Because when we ignore stop signs, we can do a lot of damage. So this stop sign that's here on the screen is like thousands, maybe millions of other stop signs around our country and around the world, really, in different languages. These simple but important stop signs. But this one, you all know about. You've heard about this stop sign. It was April the 6th, 2018, which has now become a very dark day in Canadian history, when a trucker ran this very stop sign and hit a bus carrying the Humboldt Broncos hockey team. You'll recall that 16 people died. Several others were significantly and are significantly injured. So many individuals and families were Oh, so affected. And it continues again today. The pain that continues today and will continue because one man blew through a stop sign. When Val and I were there after we shot the first part of the video under the stop sign, we walked across the road to the memorial for the many people that were affected, and particularly the 16 that were killed on that tragic day. The crosses, the hockey sticks, the hockey jerseys, the flowers, the messages. It's so impacting. Val and I now have been there 3 times. It's so impacting. It reminds us of this devastation and the pain that can follow when people run stop signs and do things their way and not God's way. Again, the enemy will lie to you and tell you it's no big deal. Just do what you want to do. Ignore the stop signs. But no, let this memorial be a reminder for all of us that stop signs are so very important. So in this season, this COVID season, we have the gift, the opportunity to stop. Now, I know for many, it's very challenging, very difficult. And for some, they're busier now than when things were, quote, normal. You know, you think of medical people and frontline responders and people who service and provide service in so many ways. And to all of those people, we honor you today. We know that this isn't a season when you can stop, but many of us can. And we know for young families, parents of young children, in many ways it's maybe more busy. But there are many of us, maybe most of us, who have the opportunity to stop, to rest, to pray, to consider who we should help, and definitely to consider moral choices that we need to make in our lives. Stop signs, so important. In the middle of that memorial across the road, I came across one cross that really they all impacted me, but there was one that I wasn't expecting. There was a message there that I wasn't expecting to see. And it reminds me that even in pain and devastation, there is hope. Because maybe you have blown stop signs. And maybe in the background of your life, there's a lot of pain and devastation that you've caused or that other people have caused in running stop signs. You know, I'm so thankful for the grace of God that even in painful situations, there's hope, there's grace, there's a God who loves us. So on this one cross down at the end of the memorial is written Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Oh, how thankful we are for the love and the grace of God. So church family, when will the COVID crisis be over? Don't know. When will things be back to normal? I hope we never go back completely to normal. But when will things become more normal, more the way we are used to functioning? Nobody knows. But until that day, we have the opportunity, many of us, to stop and to wait. Very important that we do that. And in conclusion, I want to read to you a poem these days because, as you know, or at least some of you know, Val and I, after 38 years of pastoring, we're no longer pastoring, we're traveling now and doing missions work. And so I'm cleaning out 38 years of files, and I'm filling blue boxes full of sermons. Maybe some of them should never have been preached. But anyway, many of them are getting recycled or thrown in the garbage right now. And in the middle of going through files, I found this poem that I thought was particularly interesting and timely for us these days. It's called Wait. Desperately, helplessly, longingly, I cried. Quietly, patiently, lovingly, God replied. I pled and I wept for a clue to my fate. And the Master so gently just said, wait. Wait! You say wait? My indignant reply. Lord, I need answers. I need to know why. Is your hand shortened, or have you not heard? By faith I have asked, and I'm claiming your word. My future and all to which I relate hangs in the balance, and you tell me to wait? I'm needing a yes, a go-ahead sign, or even a no to which I can resign. You promise, dear Lord, that if we believe, we need but to ask and we shall receive. And Lord, I've been asking, and this is my cry. I'm weary of asking, I need a reply. Then quietly, softly, I learned of my fate as my Master replied again, simply wait. So I slumped in my chair, defeated and taut, and grumbled to God, so I'm waiting for what? He seemed then to kneel, and his eyes met with mine, and he tenderly said, I could give you a sign. I could shake the heavens and darken the sun. I could raise the dead and cause mountains to run. I could give all that you seek, and pleased you would be. You'd have what you want, but you wouldn't know me. You'd not know the depth of my love for each saint. You'd not know the power that I give to the faint. You'd not learn to see through the clouds of despair. You'd not learn to trust just by knowing I'm there. You'd not know the joy of resting in me when darkness and silence are all that you see. You'd never experience the fullness of love when the peace of my spirit descends like a dove. You would know what I give and I save for a start, but you'd not know the depth of the beat of my heart, the glow of my comfort late in the night, the faith that I give when you walk without sight, the depth that's beyond getting just what you ask from an infinite God who makes what you have last. You'd never know, should your pain quickly flee, what it means that my grace is sufficient for thee. Yes, your dearest dreams overnight would come true, but oh, the loss if you missed what I'm doing in you. So be silent, my child, and in time you will see that the greatest of gifts is to truly know me. And though oft my answers seem terribly late, my most precious answer of all is still simply wait. Lord, today we stop. We stop to say thank you for your love and for your care. Even in this season of COVID, where most of us could never have anticipated. Lord, so many of us are filling it with different forms of busyness. And Lord, I just pray in the quietness of our hearts today that we would be reminded again of the importance of stopping stop to rest, stop to pray, stop to care for people around us. And Lord, so important that we stop to evaluate moral choices before we make devastating decisions. So Lord, today we just stop. We breathe in your beautiful presence and we just wait. Thank you for your word that says they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. Lord, what an encouragement for us today just to stop and wait with you and on you. Because really there's no sweeter place than to stop and be contigo with you. We love you and honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Wow, what another great service. And you know, it was amazing to watch Erica's testimony. We heard it's real. It's real. She attended church growing up and she wanted more. And she said now she trusts her entire life to the Lord. There's a passion. There's a realness to it. And as Mark said, stop. Stop. Search yourself. Where are you at? Is it just a ceremony or a tradition, or is it real what's going on in your life? You know, Erica said this is real what she has going on with her Lord now. And you know, just going to church, some of you might have gone to church all your life and thought, you know, I'm a Christian, I attend church. Well, going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than going to the bar makes you a cow or a pig. Or eating a big stick of butter makes you a big stick of butter. It doesn't. Going to church does not make you a Christian. In fact, you think that you're a Christian, it's a relationship. What's going on in here? Where's your passion? And I challenge you, if you haven't got that real relationship with Him, to search your heart and to accept Him in and say, Lord, come into my life. I want to serve you. I want that passion. I want that realness. I want to trust you with all of my heart and lean not on my own understanding or my ways. And I want you to direct me because you're a good shepherd and I trust you. So if you've made that commitment, you've made a decision today that you're going to do this, we would love to hear from you and to pray with you and to talk to you. And you can say that prayer together. Dear Jesus, come into my life. Search me, O Lord. And if there be any unclean thing, take it. I want a real, passionate relationship with you. I really trust you with all of my life. I trust you to direct me through all life's course. And right now, lead me. I give you the ownership and permission. You're the leader. You're the leader of this life. I am the Father. If you made that commitment, please let us know. Please go on our website. Please contact us. We'd love to talk to you and pray with you. And once again, what a great service. And thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. God bless.
you.